Welcome to Around Town, gathering what's going on here in the greater Concord area. I'm your host, Dick Patten. It's a pleasure to welcome you back as we get ready for, well, let's put it this way. School starts in a couple of weeks, or actually a week in some cases, or it's already started in some places. And then football camp is in, soccer camp is in, band camp is in. So that's all going on. College is the same way. And then today I saw the first Halloween decorations in one of the stores I went into. Sure enough, candy was out there, the dummies are out there, and some of the costumes are. I said, oh brother. So who knows, after Labor Day, out comes Christmas. So anyway, my guest today is Eric Gallager, and Eric is a candidate for the state representative from the Flotario district here in Concord for districts. Now, if I get this right, it's 7, 6, 5.
Not 5.
Not 5. 4. And
3, 2, 1.
You are for 1, 2, and 3 up in Pennacook?
Yeah, it just skips over 5 is the only one it skips
yeah,
over.
that's in with Hopkinton. I didn't think you were in with Pennacook area, that up there in West Concord.
Well, I just had a Ward 2 candidates forum on Tuesday with Alan Hirschlag, and all of the other candidates were in it. And we had a Merrimack Valley newspaper was one of the moderators there. So, yeah, I don't know why we would have had that event if the Flotario district didn't include that. So,
yeah, I didn't forgot about that one, huh? Well, I know why. They're supposed to be doing TV shows that night, and they got changed around. But anyhow, so you're doing those wards, and how many candidates for Democrats? Now, that's how many seats on that side?
So there's 2 seats in this primary, and there's 4 Democrats running. So there's actually no incumbents in this case, because Chip Rice died and Mary Stuart Guile is stepping down.
Yeah, she retired.
So yeah, there's it's me, Carl Soderstrom, Rebecca McWilliams, and Art Ellison are the Democrats running. And then after the primary, there are no Republicans. So whichever 2 of us win will go on to be unchallenged. And so basically the primary is the real election.
Wow. That's different. Yeah, because most of us have got Republicans we're running against after the primary, right? I mean, I've got 2 other Democrats in my ward, which is unheard of, but we've got a Republican after that, so it's going to be a long election season. But this is my 4th. Finishing my 4th term. So I'm hoping for one more term, and that's it. I'm retiring, but I've enjoyed it. But it's a lot to it. How much do you know about the legislature?
Well, so I am I've grown up in Concord. I've been involved with politics for a lot. The State House is right down the street from where I live, so I go to I've been to plenty legislative hearings here. I kind of have more experience with the national legislature, though. I went to George Washington University in D.C. to get my political science major.
Oh, did you?
I interned with Senator Shaheen while I was there.
Eric, you went to Concord High in 2009 graduating, and of course I graduated in 70, but back then we didn't have the wing on the street there, Westbourne Street or whatever it's called there, and then there's the crossover to that wing. When I was there, that was where the track was.
Huh.
And there was a up in there was the parking lot for the teachers on that side. And I don't know why, I mean, I had a foreign exchange student that was in 2008 graduating class. He was from Bulgaria.
Oh, what was his name?
Vilimir Petkov.
Oh, okay, I didn't know him.
Oh, he was quite a joker boy. He was tall. All I can think of was Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies. Good kid. Oh, he was a tremendous good kid. Smart. Very smart. Because his father told him, you're there for one purpose, and one purpose only. And then when he got the graduation, and then from there he went to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. Then he transferred to Boston College. And we went down to see him every weekend when it was Parents' Weekend, and every year. And it was very interesting. Now he is a full-fledged doctor. He is a chiropractor out in New York City.
So another case of young people leaving Concord and not coming back. That's kind of one of the things I want to work on in the state legislature. We have this silver tsunami of demographic shift where we're not having enough young people sticking around to replace the jobs of people who are retiring. So yeah, I have a number of things I want to do for that. Public transportation would help us a lot. If we have large amounts of college debt, that makes it hard for us to afford things like cars. Also, if Concord had its own 4-year college, we have NCI, which is really good, and NEC has some graduate programs here, and we have law school.
Yeah.
But if we expanded one of those to a 4-year program, Concord would become more of a destination for students to actually want to stay in.
Well, I think you got to remember one thing, Eric. There is a movement underway to make NHTI a 4-year school.
There is.
Oh, yes. But you got to remember one thing in the legislature. I don't know how much you know about the legislature. I'm sure you've done some studies.
Yeah.
But there are not a lot of young people. A lot of young people get elected. They don't stick around because you get paid $100 a year. Okay, that's all you get.
Yeah.
And they take taxes out of that. So you'll get a check probably for $200. If you get elected, you get a check for $200. That's for both years. You take taxes out of that. You get no mileage because Concord doesn't get any mileage.
Well, I don't need mileage because I can just walk. I'm within walking distance from the State House. So
we want mileage. But no, if you sign up for mileage, you get a check for $1.55 or something. They take taxes out of that. But anyway, so a lot of young people can't afford to be in there because they've got to work. They've got to get a full-time job unless they're living at home and daddy and mommy say, no problem, And most of them will say, get a job. But that's one of the hard things is because you've got to have a full-time job with benefits. And you don't get that being a legislator. But that's what it is, $100 a year. And you're in session generally from January to early June. And then that's it unless they call you back after September for a veto day or something like that. And then of course you'll get a chance, if you get elected, they'll send you your plates, or not plates, but they'll send you information on committees that you might like to be on. You get 3 choices. You might get your 3rd choice. You might get the 1st choice. You never know. And then you you'll choose a seat assignment, and there again, if you're handicapped, you might get a decent seat. Me, it's like I had a decent seat when the Democrats were in power. But then after that, it was terrible. And for me, it was like I wasn't disabled when I first got in, but as I got through, as all of a sudden, I have a hard time. I have to use a walker now and stuff, and it is difficult in there because the Republicans get first crack at what they want the seating, and you get what's left over.
Well, hopefully that'll change this next session.
Well, I hope so, because I got with the two Democrats running against me in the primary. It's like I've got to make sure I can try, but to get back in. But both of them have never held office. One is from Afghanistan.
Oh, is that Sophia Wazir? Okay, yeah, I know her. One of my friends from my church is friends with her, so that's like two degrees of separation.
But she's never voted, never pledged at all until she signed up to vote in June. She'd never registered to vote before. Never voted, period. And she voted to register for representative because it's against me. But so I'm not going to quote anything on that. But it is a very learning experience, that first year or 2 years of being a legislator. And I've served on fish and game, and I served on transportation most of the time, which I love transportation, and I agree with you on the public transportation. It's sorely needed.
Yeah.
And what I'm discussing is the fact I would like to see the passenger train put back in here. We almost got it this year, somewhat, but the Republicans are dead against it. And I argued with them because I said, "Are you handicapped? What's that got to do with it?" Well, most of the buses, the passenger buses from here to Boston, are not handicapped for us to get on. None of them can lower down to let us get up in. So they're not handicapped accessories, so it's different. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
While trains are handicapped accessible. But I think, the tracks have to be upgraded, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they're so dead against having the trains back in. Nashua supposedly had signed an agreement with a private outfit out of Rhode Island to join with them for a passenger train that would come up through Worcester into Nashua, Bedford, to go back down that way to Boston. But I don't know what's going on there. Now, when they thought the Amazon was coming in here, we'd have a train in a minute, the governor promised. But that didn't happen.
Anything for the big corporations, nothing for the regular people.
That's right,
That's
exactly.
the Republican way of doing things.
And, Pan Am is not one of the best ones to work with either. I know the ones from Southern New England Railroad, and they work very hard, and Pan Am really has given them a rough time for freight and stuff. But I'm hoping that if we can get back in, that we can get the train service back in there again.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know. But no, transportation. And then this last year I was on state, federal, and judicial. And your secretary sat right near me. She didn't know who I was, and when she found out...
My secretary?
Yeah, I can't think of her. Amanda, or Amelia, she's from...
Oh, from the Young Democrats.
Yes.
Yeah, Amelia Keene.
Yeah. She didn't know that it was me. And she felt so bad when she found out that the other one's running against me. She said, "Oh, no." I said, "Well, that's what you get when you don't do your homework." But anyway, because I know Will very much of that. He's from Keene, and he's part of that group.
Will
Pearson, is that?
Okay, I don't know him.
He's a lawyer. He's going to school to be a lawyer.
Okay.
But he's from Keene, and real good guy, really good guy. I like him a lot. And but he's a young Democrat. And I told him, I said, "Hey, your friend got somebody to run against me. But anyhow, but I'm one that will not accept money, nor do I solicit funds for my campaign.
Yeah, same here.
I feel that, in my case, in my ward, there are too many people who are on welfare or assistance, and I'd rather them spend their money for medicine for their family, their kids if they need it, food,
Yeah.
to feed their family, and gasoline for their car to get to work and stuff. I chose to run for this position, and I will not send out letters. Now, I'm one of the very few in Concord that won't do that, but I don't care. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and well, people, like, if you say you're gonna do that, people will often, like, pressure you to raise money anyways. Like, I've been telling a lot of people, I'm not raising money, but people are like, oh, you should do it anyways. There's the argument, don't unilaterally disarm, but since I'm just in a primary against other Democrats, like, the don't unilaterally disarm argument makes sense if you're running against a Republican, but since I'm just running against other Democrats, I don't really want to go too heavily into, tearing down any of them, because, my opponents, they're good people too. Like, really any of the four of us would be good state legislators.
But I just, really, I myself do not want to be obligated to anybody.
Yeah.
Especially corporations or these other places that will send you money. I don't want them doing that. I'll return it or I'll spend it.
And then it also just makes the paperwork easier too. Like the campaign finance, you don't have to file if it's less than 500.
Yeah.
So, it's both practical and moral reasons exist.
So I just, did you get a lot of surveys yet to make out?
Yeah.
You're getting flooded with them.
Yeah, a bunch of them. So this is my first time doing it. The ones from places whose endorsement I don't want, I'll normally just put in the recycling. I'm not really sure if that's the best idea, or if I should write back and say, hey, NRA, you guys are bad, or something, or just whether it's better to not even waste my time. I don't know, what do you do with groups whose endorsements you don't want?
Well, I'm very outspoken, and I tell it like it is. Some of it I don't believe in, some of it I do, and I'll tell them so. I'm with all the violence out there today. Yes, I know the Second Amendment, and all that, and everybody should have a weapon to protect themselves, but you've got these other ones who are nuts, should say undesirables, who are out there shooting at everybody, and that's when it's bad. But it's a very tight rope you gotta walk, and I don't do every survey, that's for sure. I've been flooded with them, and it's the other day I had one about same-sex marriages and lifestyles. Oh yeah.
I didn't get that one. The endorsements I'm hoping the most to get are from NEA New Hampshire. So that's the teachers.
Oh, National Education Association.
Yeah, because my mom's a para-educator at Renlet.
Oh, really?
And campaign for a family-friendly economy, because they seem to be focused on millennial issues such as paid family leave, and things like that.
Yeah.
I had been hoping before I got into the race to maybe also get the endorsement from the state employees union, but apparently
They don't do that until
Yeah.
after the primary.
well, they've endorsed Art Ellison, who's one of my opponents.
really?
And he's apparently is the only person they're going to be endorsing in the primaries, even though there's 2 seats, so they technically could endorse 2. But yeah, my dad's a state employee. He works in the Office of Strategic Initiatives, or it used to be Office of Energy and Planning, and before that it was the Office of State Planning. So yeah,
Usually after the primary, or sometime around early October, late September, they'll start to, support you or endorse you or whatever. The unions especially. And a lot of them don't want that. They don't want the unions. They are against them. But
yeah, I do want the unions. I think unions are important for our society to make sure workers are treated fairly.
Exactly.
And get good wages.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, it's in. I will also tell you on election day. You shouldn't. Well, I don't hand out stuff at election day, okay? Because people get very irritated when they go to the polls. They know who they're going to vote for. You stand there, you can say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, thank you for coming. But to here, they don't want it. And I'll tell you why, because for 29 years I was chairman of the supervisors of the checklist here in Ward 8. And the first thing they do is, do you have a barrel or something I can throw this stuff in? They throw it, they'll throw it away. They don't want it. You know?
I mean, that's kind of like, one of the recommendations for when going canvassing is to bring literature with you. But, I mean, I don't, like, when people leave literature at my door, like, I just throw that away too. Like, literature has the word litter in it. I'd rather not be littering. Like, if people want to find out about me, I'm available online. I give out my contact information on, like, I'll write it down personally for them, like on a sticky note or something. So it's just the information they need.
Sure.
Rather than having like these mass-produced brochures that most of it won't even be needed.
Well, that's good. Well, Eric, we got the ding-ding. That means we're almost time to give up for this one, but I'm really glad you came in.
Okay.
I hope I didn't make you too nervous.
No, that's okay.
You were kind of a little fidgety, but you were fine once you relaxed there.
Well, I'm just kind of always fidgety anyways.
So you went to Rutland Junior High?
Yeah.
I went there. It's bigger than it was when I went there, but yeah. When I went there, the 7th grade was on the 2nd floor. 8th grade was down in the 300 wing and 400 wing. And 9th grade was in the 100 wing. But with that in mind, we'll give it to a close. Thanks to Ian Marx, and good luck to you in the primary election. I'll be anxious to see how you make out.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll get a chance to work together in the State House.
Yep.
So
hopefully.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get back in again.
So yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you called. So we've been visiting with Eric Gallager, who is a candidate for the state representative from wards 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and that's the Flotario districts. And so by all means, he would appreciate you to come out on September the 11th and cast your ballot. So with that in mind, thank you to my director, Ian Marx, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon on Around Town. I'm your host, Dick Patten.